Hey guys! So today we are going to talk about the whiteboard test. So let's get into it. Now, in order for this to kind of make a bit of sense, I wanted to give you a little bit of context first and foremost. We can do that, right? So the other day I was talking to a few viewers on one of my old videos about kind of the scope of what it means to be a front-end developer and kind of the requirements for, you know, things that are useful to know, or almost, in my opinion, the bare minimum knowledge that you are required to understand or to have in order to be a successful front-end developer. And we kind of got into this discussion, like where do you draw the line? In this scenario, this person had an issue with me claiming that it's important for a front-end developer to have a knowledge of basic server functionality, at least understanding how rendering works in this scenario. And this person then kind of made the argument that, all right, but I think that that's out of scope because every single server, like every company uses a different server technology. Should everybody know, should a front-end developer be expected to know all the different languages that you can possibly use in order to provide a web page? And my reply was basically, I don't think that you have to go that far, because when it comes to server rendering, the technology itself is actually literally the same thing for every language. Every language has the same rendering is the same concept in every language. Doesn't matter which one you pick. And in this scenario, we were doing it in Node.js, and I thought, hey, this is kind of on. Let's just say that I think it was a reasonable thing. A few people didn't agree, which is absolutely fine. But this is why I wanted to talk to you about the whiteboard test, because I think that there is this illusion in certain circles on the internet where some people seem to believe that as a front-end developer, you only work with the UI, and that you're only expected to understand how to work in. Some people have even, on some scenarios, they've said some stuff like, oh, if you want to be a front-end developer, all you need to know is Bootstrap, jQuery, and React. And I kind of go, well, no. Good luck with, I'm just saying, good luck with the job hunt, guys. Because the thing is that, yeah, there are absolutely companies where this is the priority, and that's great. But the definition of what you actually do is a little bit looser than that. And that's where I wanted to talk to you about the whiteboard test. Now, I have, to this day, not had a single front-end position. And I've had, well, most of the time I get hired because I have experience in this area area. But I've been working on as a full stack developer for quite a while as well. So when people look for a front-end, all the interviews I've ever been to when it comes to front-end development has had two parts, which has never ever been different. And this is why I keep telling you guys, if you want, it's okay. If you want to sit in your own little world and believe that all you need to know as a front-end developer is JavaScript and CSS and HTML, then more power, that's fine. That's not what I've found to be true, because the people who get turned down for positions are usually the people who have that mindset, at least in my experience. Because when you actually get to a job interview, depending on, usually it's at the larger companies, and I've been interviewed at quite a few of the larger companies, some of the global companies, and even companies who are a little bit more local than that, but still count their employees in quite a few people. They will expect you to know more than React. They will expect you to know more than just basic CSS and HTML. And they test this in various ways. And what I want to talk to you about today is where it wasn't all that long ago I was at one of these companies where I actually got to experience. I was at two of the major companies here in Sweden. I got to experience exactly how a company of a large-scale company actually defines what is necessary for, in their opinion, in order for you to work as a front-end developer at that company. So I won't mention any names, because as soon as I do that, what always happens immediately, where a lot of people reach out and asks me for tips and tricks and wants me to tell them what they can expect when they go to a job interview like that, and I don't want to do that because I don't think that's fair. A job interview should be, in my opinion, fair. It shouldn't be something that you cheat your way through. So the first thing that happens is basically that in this scenario, I had to do a logic test, pure logic, where basically the idea was that it was just an image with a pattern of dots, and I was simply expected to click and kind of select the next logical part of that sequence. That's number one. Has nothing to do that has nothing to do with front-end whatsoever. And then we had a personal interview, the first one, where I was expected to just basically solve a live code a solution to a front-end problem. They had an application with a few requirements, very simple requirements, and I sat there in a room with two other people, two developers. They gave me a keyboard and they just told me, build it. I didn't get to pick the language, I didn't get to pick anything. It was in this scenario, it was a Node.js application with with just vanilla JavaScript and all the associated tools, Gulp, like it was Gulp and Webpack and all this stuff. It was just a random project that he had at hand. Fix it. This is what I'm telling you guys. You have no control, you have no say whatsoever in what the company is going to expect of you. So that's why I was saying to these people about server-side rendering. I mean, if you're telling me that all you need to know as a front-end developer is happening on the UI, or that you only need to know React, then I'm just wondering, do you really think that every company uses only SPA frameworks like React, Vue, and Angular? Because there's quite a few companies out there who use server-side rendered technologies. And if you don't understand how that works, how will you effectively be able to work on the project? Because I think that there's this illusion for some people where, all right, front-end is only UI and back-end is only back-end, and there's no overlap between the two. There's quite a lot, because the fact of the matter is, just because you know how to do some basic server stuff does not make you a backend developer. Trust me, backend development is massive. There's tons of stuff to know there. There is so much that it would be an entire video series just to explain all the things that you need to know in order to be a really good professional level backend developer. And vice versa, of course, for frontend. So it's not about being exclusive. That's why I wanted to get to here. And after that, after having to kind of do that live, this is, as I said, I don't think I've ever been at a company where I didn't have to do this. Just sit there, live code a solution in JavaScript. Then finally we get to the whiteboard test. And the whiteboard test literally is that I get to talk, and this has happened quite a few times now, I get to talk to two people who represent a pair of customers, if you will, clients that the company works towards. And they come with me with a business requirement. They just tell me, we're going to build this thing here, and we would like you to just explain to us how we're going to build it. And then I get to go to the whiteboard, and in front of all these nice people, I get to sketch out, all right, this is the flow, this is how we're going to set up the system. Basically architectural decisions, how to actually set up an architecture, and how to structure it in such a way and deliver it in such a way that, it meets their requirements. Because they want me to prove that I have an understanding of software development, not just CSS or JavaScript. And this is what I've been telling you guys. There's a big difference between understanding like some basic code and understanding what is actually entailed in creating professional grade software. So what I want to touch on here is that as the whiteboard test is a great way to illustrate exactly what I'm saying. If you understand software development, then you should understand how an entire application is structured, and that is going to be expected of you in many cases, regardless of what you want to call yourself. Some companies, they don't care if you own. What I'm saying, guys, is that being a professional grade software developer is not the same thing as being somebody who works at a small-time company doing only UI work, or a small-time company doing only, I don't know, some basic things with, say, WordPress. That is not the same thing as professional grade software. So what I want you to remember, and what I want you to take away from this, is that when it comes to having this definition between, all right, what is a front-end developer, what is a back-end developer, the thing that you should focus on is not so much what all the random people on the internet are telling you, because some people will not have a good understanding of what is actually entailed. You don't have to trust me. I can only tell you that I've been working professionally now for quite a few years, and I have quite a few friends who do this professionally as every day. They work every day with this. And I know what they know, and I know what they do on a daily basis. And maybe your experiences differ, but at the very least, do yourself the favor of going out on the job postings and look at what people are actually expecting of you, as opposed to just have this random person tell you how the world actually works. Because it may even differ from region to region, and it may differ from company to company, but all I can tell you is that most companies will expect you to know more. It's that simple. And your definition, we can argue semantics all day, and we can talk about what does it actually mean to be a front-end developer, what does it mean to be a back-end developer, what should you be able to do, what shouldn't you be able to do. That's fine, we can talk all day. At the end of the day, it's not up to you and me what that actually means and what's required of you. It's the company who is doing the hiring who dictates exactly what they need. And we can throw away the label front-end and back-end if you want, and then we just say software developer, and then we don't have to have that distinction anymore. But anywho, I'm not going to rant all that much about this anymore. I just want you to remember, what I want you to take away from this is basically that when you get tested as a quote-unquote front-end developer, you are making a big mental mistake if you think that all you ever get to be tested for is stuff that is related to the UI. In fact, it's actually very common that you get sometimes you get computer science questions, pure algorithmic questions. That was the first test I got from one of these big companies before I got to go up to their main office. It was just basic, like literally just algorithmic solutions to complicated computer science problems. And then we got into the UI stuff and so forth, because every company has different requirements and sets different expectations on their developers. So just because you do front-end work, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't learn software development. Have a great day.